My ex-boyfriend asked for an open relationship and regretted it. About 8 months after we started living together, Wade came to me with a solution to our dead bedroom. I was looking for help on Reddit, and one guy said non-monogamy saved his marriage. I love that. He's like, babe, I got this really good idea from Reddit.
No.
We both started swiping, and within a few days, I had my first date with Raul, and Wade had matched with no one. Wade was like, you know, if you're too nervous to go, you don't have to. Welcome back to Delve Deck Stories. Today we have some stories where the tables have been turned. Our first story is from Hope, and it's who is the worst person you ever dated and what made them the worst from the venting deck. My ex-boyfriend asked for an open relationship and regretted it.
This already makes a lot of sense to me.
Exactly. Like, okay, whatever. This seems like it was straight out of like central casting as far as the premise goes, but continue.
Wade and I met on Hinge and started dating in 2015. We fell in love quickly, and after 2 years, we moved in together. That's when things started to go downhill. We rarely argued in the past, but he didn't seem to want to pull his weight around the house at all. His apartment had always been spotless when I visited, but now he seemed incapable of cleaning up after himself and expected me to cook.
Was his mom coming over to clean that apartment?
I know. I'm like, what is this sudden change? Unless he had roommates and it's like, oh, those were the clean ones. But if he's living alone and then all of a sudden he's like, a woman's here, I'm good.
Yeah. As soon as we moved in together, it went downhill. I'm like, there was no like honeymoon period where you were just, you know, having like spontaneous sex because your partner was right there with you. That's bad.
This was my first serious relationship, so I was happy to play housewife at first, but then it started to wear on me. I began feeling like his mother. This caused our sex life to become basically non-existent. Wade would complain that I never gave him blowjobs anymore, and I was like, maybe I'd be more interested if you tried helping out once in a while. Dude just sucks.
Wow. Wow.
I feel like the audacity of some people, like, just calm down.
He watched that Sunny episode with the Bang Maid and was just like, yeah, that's a thing. No, It's not, guys. It's never a thing.
Then, about 8 months after we started living together, Wade came to me with a solution to our dead bedroom. I was looking for help on Reddit, and one guy said non-monogamy saved his marriage. I love that. He's like, babe, I got this really good idea from Reddit. Like,
no. Anything but not vacuuming and sweeping. That's wild.
Yeah.
Also, no marriage has ever been saved by non-monogamy.
No.
That's going to be the final nail in the coffin.
Try something that is
like
notoriously very hard.
Right. It's right up there with like having a baby to save the relationship.
Yes.
It's like, no, both of these things are wrong. Don't bring a third into it unless you're both
real
in lockstep.
Yeah.
You need to both be into the same.
Yeah.
Although if you're going to try one or the other to save your failing relationship, I would probably side with the non-monogamy because that's more of an escape hatch.
Yes.
Whereas the baby is more of a trap.
If you're going to save non-monogamy, open that relationship up before you bring a child into it. Bring a third adult into the situation before
This is fair, but like maybe start with step one. Help clean around the house or break up. Yeah, it almost feels like, I don't think Wade is smart enough to pull this off, but it almost is like, as soon as she moves in, I'm going to be a complete slob, and I'm going to use that as like the excuse to try and suggest that we open up the relationship.
I was skeptical. I was familiar with polyamory and did not think it was for me. We wouldn't have to date anyone else, but we could fool around with other people and maybe it would spice things up, he said. I wasn't happy with how things had been going, but I still loved Wade and was desperate to make it work, so I said, fine.
Women, please know your worth. Please.
Yeah.
Like,
I know this is like first relationship vibes, but...
Yeah.
No. We laid out some ground rules around being honest with each other, wearing condoms, and getting regularly tested for STDs. Then we helped each other make dating profiles. I'd been nervous at first, but putting my dating profile together was thrilling. It felt like I was doing something bad. Wade seemed really excited by it too, and we ended up actually sleeping together that night. I remember thinking maybe this would actually work and we could reignite the spark.
I wonder if they like at the end of like setting up these new dating profiles, they decided to like review each other's just to kind of like, okay, exactly how many fabrications are you inserting into this? Like what proxy, what's your representative that you're sending out into the world actually look like compared to how you really are?
I can understand how this would be like fun. Like you're like, oh, I'm seeing my partner through like a dating app lens, and maybe you're like, oh, we can pretend like it's like brand new or whatever again, but you don't need to see it through.
Right. Yeah, exactly. This would be a great form of role play where you just stop right there.
You stop right there and you're like, oh, your dating profile. Like, wow, look at that. You're so clean according to your dating profile.
They've also now invited this chore into their lives, which is swiping. Which I feel like is being glossed over here. That sounds terrible.
This is like, okay, there's plenty of reasons that we've discussed on this show that I'm like, polyamory or non-monogamy is difficult. I really think a gigantic, big thing would be you have to date other people.
Yeah.
You have to talk to other people. You have to swipe. We both started swiping, and within a few days, I had my first date with Raul. And Wade had matched with no one.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. As I left to go on my date, Wade was like, you know, if you're too nervous to go, you don't have to.
Wade, you gotta be careful what you wish for. I don't know what to tell you.
You know, if you don't actually want to do, I just suddenly thought about it. It seems like you don't like this anymore. I was like, I'm not nervous. Do you not want me to go? He got defensive and told me that this was his idea and he didn't have any issue with it at all. I was like, great, then I'm gonna go have fun. He didn't kiss me goodbye. My date was incredible and I went back to Raul's apartment and slept with him. It was my first one-night stand ever and I felt kind of weird about it, but was also excited to tell Wade. Why would you think that he's going to handle this?
I mean, on some level, she might know that he's not going to.
Yeah, so she's like, I can't wait to tell you what a dumbass you are.
Yep.
However, when I got home, he looked like he had been crying. I mean, yeah, you're just sitting at home in your messy ass apartment while, oh my God.
I mean, if I were him, I would have made sure that apartment was just like
spotless,
pristine, just sparkling.
Yeah.
And then just like trail of roses or something.
Yeah,
to the
you're
bed.
Like, come on.
And he's just sitting home alone, crying in the dark.
Yeah.
In a not any cleaner house than when she left.
I asked if everything was okay, and he said he had just been playing a lot of video games, so his eyes were tired. Okay.
A likely story.
Gosh, dude.
Also, it was raining in here. The sprinklers went off.
I mean, it's one thing that guys won't compliment each other, leaving all of the work in that regard to women, but they can't even be honest with themselves about their feelings.
You didn't like this situation that you brought about. I, again, told him if he didn't want to do this, we didn't have to. He insisted that it was fine. So I said, I don't have to tell you about the date either if you don't want me to. He then got angry and was like, oh, so you f***ed him? I was like, yeah, that was the point of this, right? He then started actually crying and screaming at me that I was a slut for someone on the first date.
Wade is a child. This is like a 14-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And he also has already in this story demonstrated a pattern of just like wild escalations from like 0 to 100.
Yeah. No emotional regulation at all.
Which does support Meredith's hypothesis that his mom was the one keeping his prior place clean. She was
coming over and really helping him. And
he needs to go back to his mom. He's not done.
No.
Yeah.
This prompted the fight that would ultimately end our relationship.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. Yes. I know. At least we just like did it once and then we moved the on from this man-child. Wade tried telling me that I had broken our rules. I hadn't. He said he hadn't approved of Raul. I was like, that wasn't one of the rules. Then he tried to gaslight me and say it was actually my idea to have an open relationship.
Him starting this whole thing is what constitutes approval, but also him being okay with her going on this date and saying bye also signals to me approval of this date. Because if you're going out on a date in a romantic context, even if you've never met the person, implicitly there is always going to be the possibility that things go really, really well and people hook up.
Mm-hmm. This was the point of the thing that you proposed because a genius on Reddit told you it would be great.
I believe there was also a mention of we don't have to date these people, we could just hook up with them. So it seems like she followed the rules exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was my idea to have an open relationship, and that he had only suggested it because he could tell it was something I wanted. I was like, no, it's not. He screamed at me over and over again that I had broken his trust and that this had been a test and I had failed.
Wow.
Bro.
So we've got failure to launch, not knowing what words mean, gaslighting,
tantrums.
Yeah, emotional dysregulation. It's just like the greatest hits of just like all the stuff about men that makes people, you know, think of them in a broad sense as like trash.
Yeah.
You're doing our gender a disservice, guys.
That he couldn't believe I would do this to him. I was like, sounds like you're just jealous. No one wants to f you. He dumped me and left the apartment. The next morning, he showed up and begged me to get back together with him, but I'd had enough. This dude is a disaster.
What an emotionally chaotic guy.
This guy has so many problems.
He needs a therapist.
Yeah, he really needs a therapist. Plus, my date with Raul had showed me that there are plenty of fish in the sea. I didn't need to waste my time with a man-child who thought he was way hotter than he actually is. This man's a disaster. I can't believe you dated him for this long.
That's like almost 3 years of your life gone. I'm glad that you're out of it, but holy crap.
Our next story is from Andrea, and it's, when was the last time you were proud of yourself, from the original deck? My husband kept threatening to leave me. I finally left him. Good.
We love to see it already, yeah.
I married Mark because he was everything I wanted on paper. He was handsome and had a high-paying job. He wanted to get married and start a family. I ignored entirely too many red flags that unfortunately got a lot worse once I was pregnant, and even more intolerable once our son was born. I hate this situation already.
Yep.
I also feel like it's such a trope. Like, they're on their best behavior. Like the last guy early in the relationship. And, like, the more time you spend together, the more the, like, mask
They're
slips.
like, oh, I've trapped you. Now I can be terrible. This is what's scary about marriage. When Mark and I met, I was making a living doing wedding photography. But once I got pregnant, he pressured me to cut back on gigs since we had a baby on the way. We didn't need my income, so I was happy to focus on getting ready for the baby. As I got farther along in my pregnancy, he started making comments about me gaining weight. Like, yeah, of course I am putting on weight. I'm pregnant.
Does this man not know how pregnancy works?
Does he not know that babies have mass?
He just
fetuses?
He thought it was like in The Sims when you like woohoo and then a bunch of hearts appear and there's a baby in there.
Oh, he just thought the stork was going to drop it off.
He thought that it just suddenly appears in the room in a bassinet already. He compared me to women at his job who had babies and didn't get that fat and kept telling me it was possible to be pregnant and still mostly maintain my figure. Mark, I
throw this man into the
leave
trash.
him now. What this stupid man.
This is bad.
I had Mark in my ear about not gaining weight and my doctor telling me I needed to gain more, actually. I started feeling depressed, and the worse I felt, the more Mark criticized me. Literally, she is growing your child. The house was never clean enough, I didn't look good enough, etc. He complained I was getting lazy and letting myself and the house go now that I had trapped him with a baby. I was actually the one who felt trapped with him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my. I hate this man.
This guy and the first guy need to get together.
Yes.
They need to be with each other.
I know. I mean, literally, thank God you got out of that because this was your future, girl. Yeah. After our son was born, the complaining continued. He didn't want to help with the baby at all, but he criticized everything. It was my fault if the baby cried. He got mad if I didn't keep up with household chores or my appearance. He would point out if I got a pimple or if my nails were chipped. Good Lord. Me and Mark would not work out. I do not understand. What do you mean, dude? Who cares? He was always telling me he could get someone else who was thinner and less lazy. Oh my God.
Yeah, Mark and Wade need to be roommates or something.
Yeah. He threatened to leave me more times than I can count. One day, I just had enough. I was venting to my cousin who does wedding planning, and she was like, you and the baby should just come stay in our guest house, and we can revive your photography business. You don't need him. She was so right. I went home and packed up our things and went to stay with my cousin and her husband. That's great. I love when people, I'm so happy that you had an out. And you always need to have an out.
Yeah, and that synergy, wedding planner, wedding photographer.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
When Mark came home and saw we were gone, he was blowing up my phone about where are you and why isn't there any dinner? Bro. I told him he could get one of those thinner, less lazy women he was always telling me about to make his dinner and that I wanted a divorce. As soon as I told him I wanted a divorce, his attitude totally changed and he was begging me to come back, but I was not going for it.
Good.
Like these men, like, you can't threaten all that. You can't be worthless. And then like the second they're like, okay, yeah, I don't want to be with you. It's like, oh, what? I was so much happier being away from him. And he was helping so little with our son that being rid of him actually made my day easier. I stayed with my cousin and started rebuilding my photography business and filed for divorce. Mark spent months trying to get me to come back, but I refused. You should have seen him when he had to take care of the baby for his weekends.
I shudder to think what
I
went
know.
on.
This poor child.
I know. Honestly, like, I would be like, can
Feels
I
like
get
you'd-
full custody? Does he have to see the children?
Right, because I almost feel like I don't trust this guy to do anything right
Yeah.
because she was doing everything. I feel like there need to be a chaperone in the room to make sure that he was doing it properly.
Yeah. He could not handle it and had to hire a nanny to help him.
There we go.
Yeah.
Why didn't he hire a nanny to help her when she was there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. If he
'Cause he
had
was like, "You're
nanny
the
money,
nanny." Right?
like
Well, she said that was one of the reasons she married him is that he
Yeah.
had money. Like, I don't. Your
You're
house
gonna
isn't
have
clean.
money,
Your baby
like-
is demanding hire people.
Right.
yeah, like
His first weekend with the baby, he called me like 200 times asking me every stupid question before giving up and hiring help. I laughed my ass off. I was like, why do you need a nanny? Sounds pretty lazy. Yeah.
wow. So even once she's like out of the house, he's still like bothering her with his weaponized incompetence.
The divorce was finalized 2 years ago, and he still tries to get me to come back to him. Mark, you stupid man. I thought you could get a hot young lady. What are you talking about? That will most definitely not be happening. I am the happiest I've ever been since I left him. I also have never looked better, and he's not going to get to enjoy it. Good riddance.
Happy ending, at least.
Yeah.
He is on his own where he belongs.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy ending. And I mean, I'm sure she loves the son, but also it's quite a matzo ball to be stuck with.
I know. That
You
is a
know?
good point. It really does suck. Like, I'm so happy when women leave situations like this, especially when there's children in the mix, but it does suck that you are permanently attached to this man.
Yeah, he's always going to be in her life in some degree unless she is able to, get full custody and hopefully file a restraining order. But, like
Yeah.
it's the kind of thing where it's, again, like would a family court judge like decide that him being an idiot and
Is
a
enough.
jerk isn't enough for me to like sign off on like a restraining order or full custody? I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
I feel like his behavior is not. It's very bad, but I feel like it's not. You can never see your kid enough. Like, it's not like that level of bad where they're going to do that to him. But he's definitely terrible. It might work itself out. Like, the son might grow up and be like, I actually don't want to hang out with him either.
Hopefully. Our next story is from Zach, and it's what is something you actually do want advice about from the original deck. My parents kicked me out for being gay. Now they want money from me. No.
What?
Well, they don't get it, do they? That's like, I don't know.
Wow.
Sounds like actions have met consequences.
Yeah.
It sounds, continue. We'll see.
Yeah. I knew I was gay when I was pretty young, but tried to keep closeted to avoid static with my family. I met a guy online my senior year of high school, and we started secretly dating. When I brought him around, I told my parents he was a friend so they wouldn't suspect anything. My parents ended up finding out he and I were boyfriends and told me I had to either dump my boyfriend or get out of their house.
Depending on how old he is when this happened, I don't even know if that's like a legal thing the parents can do. I don't think you can't kick out your minor child.
That's a good point. I mean, he was a senior in high school, so he could theoretically be 18. Yeah, are you not allowed to kick a minor out? I don't really know.
I don't think so.
Yeah, like it would be like child abuse or like a neglect or something.
Yeah, I don't think you can just tell your... If they're underage, I guess if they're 18, maybe you can. I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, it's so weird their like logic here. They're like, you either need to dump your boyfriend or get out of the house. Dumping the boyfriend does not make him less gay. He's still going to be in your house and into other men.
But they're probably like, we'll be able to convert you. We'll pray it away. We'll do a lot of prayers.
That works so well for gunshot wounds, so why wouldn't it have any effect on someone's sexuality? Ridiculous.
I decided to just go live at a friend's house for the rest of my senior year, and things have been pretty frosty and low contact with my parents ever since. This was 11 years ago. I rarely talk to my parents these days, and the few times I've taken their calls, the conversation always devolves into them lecturing me on my sinful lifestyle and begging me to come back to the church. Stop taking their calls?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can block numbers on your phone.
Yeah, that, I don't know. They also refused to come to my wedding 2 years ago and have never met my husband. Last year, my dad got sick and had to quit working. This was a huge blow for them financially. Between the lost income from my dad's job and the medical bills, they are basically broke. They sold their house and moved into a tiny apartment, but they are still struggling, and my mom asked me for money a few weeks ago. I know she would never have asked if things weren't dire, but she told me they are behind on rent and worried about getting evicted. She says they have no place to go.
Okay, so if they are very religious, they probably do this thing that religious Christians like to do called tithing, where you give roughly 10% of your net income to the church every single month. So this sounds like they should take it up with the church, but also maybe think all that 10% would probably be useful right now.
Yeah. The irony here is I was extremely broke when I was 18 and they kicked me out, but now it's quite the opposite. I make okay money, but my husband makes a lot more than me, and he also inherited a lot of money from his grandparents. He and I now have a lot more money than we need and could very easily afford to help my parents without even missing the money. My husband has been very supportive and said he will stand by whatever I decide, but I think he is more optimistic because he has a good relationship with his family. His parents are very liberal and supportive of our relationship, so I think it's hard for him to relate to having parents like mine. He thinks maybe if we help them, they will come around on our relationship.
Who cares?
No, they won't. They would have come around by now. It's been 11 years.
Yeah.
They would have come around by now. And
who wants to bribe their parents into behaving anyway?
Yeah, I really, I understand the instinct.
Oh, yeah, the whole, you only have one mom and dad.
There would be a part of me that would kind of just want to be like, okay, I'll help you, but now you have to admit that everything you did was wrong and you're bad and, give me that. But, at the end of the day, they still did all this to you.
Yes, and even if you get that from them, it doesn't sound satisfying because it's like you bought it and they didn't give it freely, and so it's not really that good.
Exactly.
This is why you have to go no contact instead of low contact.
Yeah.
But I am to the point where I don't even care if they come around anymore. I really want to leave my parents to the consequences of their behavior, but maybe that's too petty. I've tried to imagine how I will feel if I let them rot, and I just do not have sympathy for them. They weren't there for me when I needed them, so I don't feel like I should have to help them now. Yeah, I mean, they kicked you out. You were in high school. That's f***ed up.
Yeah, and the fact that they only started pestering him when they needed something is very telling.
Yes.
Like they were totally fine with the low contact, the frosty low contact, until Dad was out of work for a while and they had blown through their savings.
Yeah.
And again, like, if you're so committed to your Lord and Savior, go talk to your church about it. They actually prefer that their, congregants come to them for help than go to the government.
Or the sinful outsiders.
Outsiders who are,
doing
something against God.
They never cared how hard things were for me when I was a young adult with no support and no safety net. They didn't care that I spent my late teens couch surfing and trying to cobble together an income to sustain myself with shitty low-wage jobs. They have not apologized for their past behavior, and I don't think they regret how they've treated me and my husband. I am so tempted to tell them that this is God punishing them for being bad parents and that they can go ask their church for money since they chose it over me. I mean, I honestly think that that's like, yeah, if they have a church that can help them, like, go to the church. Why are you bothering your son?
Yeah, and like, I mean, the subtext for this entire story is the parents are the ones that have been the most sinful.
Yeah.
This is just karma, is what
Very
I'm hearing.
much, yeah. In some ways, I feel like they are getting what they deserve, but part of me also feels a bit guilty for refusing to help them when it would be nothing for me and my husband to give them the money they need to stay housed and fed. I know it would be hard, but like, I also just feel like then they're going to ask for more and they're going to ask for more. And I feel like it's a slippery slope and I don't know.
The whole reason that this happened is because the dad got sick and lost his job, right? So there's a thing called Medicaid that would help with that, or at least it would have.
Stamps, CBT.
Those are not really options any longer, though.
True.
I have a feeling they voted to help make that happen.
Probably.
Based on what we're hearing about these people.
Right, and isn't everything tied to, like, you have to be gainfully employed in order to qualify now?
Yeah.
I guess you're just going to have to blow your nose and wear a mask or something and go get a job.
I know their situation is pretty desperate. I do believe in human rights and generally think everyone deserves food and housing, but I also resent them so much. What should I do?
I wouldn't help them if I were him.
Yeah, I think you should have cut off. I think you should have gotten no contact a while ago.
I mean, they like were not very caring about his human rights.
Yeah.
They kicked him out and let him fend for himself as basically a young adult. Technically still a child if he was in high school. And then, like, yeah, again, I would just say, here's the address for food banks in your area.
Right.
Go hit them up.
Exactly. Here's some support, but, like, you didn't support me, so I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't help them, but I've also seen this go other ways. Like, we have a friend who's kind of in a situation like this. He's not gay. He has other reasons to not be crazy about his parents. But similar situation. The friend has done well for himself. The parents, not so much. The friend continues to help. Our friend continues to help his parents who don't really deserve his help. And I think there's some, like, hope that maybe the parents will at some point see that, like, he's a good kid and they should appreciate him, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. And I would worry for this guy, it would be the same thing. Like, if he does it, I feel like he'd be looking for that apology and he's never going to get it.
Yeah. The parents will be on the deathbed and he'll just be waiting for an apology that'll never come.
Yeah, I feel like it really, if you decide you want to do this, know that you will probably never get any sort of satisfaction from them. And I also would probably, like, if you decide to do this, I would get some sort of, like, lawyer or something involved and like have a set thing so they can't ask for more. Like, I don't know. I would just like, I feel like they're just gonna.
Usually, I mean, I've heard it said before. I agree with this. It's never a good idea to loan family or even it's never a good idea to loan family money. Gift them money, which basically just means you are accepting from the jump that you're never going to see this again.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like when you go to the casinos in Vegas, you go in with a set amount of money that you are willing to walk out of there without.
Yeah.
And you just need to be okay with that.
Yeah.
That's a tough story.
My advice to this guy is maybe talk to a therapist about the situation, because I feel like he needs someone to, like, some outside party to validate that, like, he can let them look to their own devices.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's also the advice is going to depend on the therapist, but also the therapist is probably going to not say you should do this. They're going to do what therapists do, where they're going to ask leading questions to hopefully get him to arrive at an answer that satisfies himself. How would you feel if you give them the money and nothing changes? Would you regret giving them the money? In which case, don't. Would you still feel better having done something nice for them, even if it didn't change the status of your relationship? Like, these are all the kinds of scenarios that you kind of have to run through yourself to figure out.
You have to be like, what is the like best thing that could come out of this? What is the absolute worst thing that could come out of this? And what is the realistic thing? And like weighing all of that.
And why does he want, if he were to help them, what would he hope to get out of it? And does he think he'll get that?
Yeah. Our next story is from Candace, and it's "What's your best, no one will believe this, but" story from the Splash Beach Ball. I stole my stolen car back.
Ooh.
About 8 years ago, I woke up to go to work and found that my Nissan Altima was not where I'd parked it. I thought maybe I forgot where I parked and walked all around the neighborhood clicking my key. It was nowhere to be found. I contacted the police and they let me open a case with them, but they were very unhelpful. Unless it ends up in a wreck, we probably won't ever find it, was their exact words.
Great.
Okay.
Cool.
To protect and serve, huh?
Yeah. I was so mad. Luckily, I was able to get a rental car through my insurance company while I figured things out. I get that, like, well, I guess, you know, are the cops going to drive around, like, looking for your car? But also, it's just like, so what? I don't know.
This happened to me once before, and it turned out that it had been impounded because there was a preseason football game for the Baltimore Ravens, and I was parked in a place where they had put up signs temporarily saying, like, something or other, like it was parked legally, but not on this particular day because there was like this like kind of extraneous circumstance that was happening. And so I get out of work and my car is gone, and I'm like, it got stolen. And it had not. It had been taken to the impound lot, and I had to pay like $400 to get it out. I was so angry.
That's,
for a preseason football game. So F you, NFL.
My daughter was going to school at University of Washington at the time, and I had plans to visit her for Parents' Weekend. I live in Olympia, so it wasn't too far of a drive. Then, as I'm driving down I-5 and approaching Seattle, I notice a Nissan Altima a lane over from me. I had been recognizing my old car everywhere since it was stolen, but this one had two outlines on the back where it looked like bumper stickers had been peeled off. I'd had my "I'm with her" sticker proudly displayed on my car, and another sticker that was in the shape of a TARDIS from Doctor Who that said, "My other car is a TARDIS." Yes, I'm that kind of nerd. It also had what appeared to be a temporary plate. It could have been a coincidence, but something in my gut knew this was my car. That feels pretty specific.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, you're like, I don't know, you're like in Seattle.
How many years had elapsed since it was stolen?
It was only a few, I think it was recent.
Oh, recent, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it was years. I think, well, she didn't say.
But she did say she kept seeing, like, she's thinking she saw it everywhere.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
made me think, like, yeah, she's really hung up on this Nissan. But I get it. Like, it's annoying to have to replace a car.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not, like, intentionally just like, oh, this thing is, like, it's going to cost more to repair it than to just get myself a new car. So I'll just get a new car. Like, if it's, like, something that just happens out of the blue, it's real annoying.
I decided to follow the person. Not long after I started following them, I saw them pull into a parking spot in an apartment complex. Out popped a guy who couldn't have been much older than my daughter. I sat in my car across the street wondering what I should do. The cops had been helpless, and the car was stolen in Olympia, so would the Seattle police even care? Also, what if this kid bought the car from the person who stole it? I didn't want to get him in trouble. On the other hand, he could be the criminal. Finally, once he had been gone for a bit, I snuck over to the car and tried my key, which, yes, I was still carrying with me just in case.
It's like Kiwi with the bike.
Yeah. She loves this Altima. Wow.
She's like, I can't let it go. And it worked. It was definitely my car. Wow. I mean, I hope, unless it was like, okay, so my mom growing up, she had this like Toyota van, I don't know, and it was like this like forest green, and there was another person at my elementary school who also had that van, and their keys worked in each other's cars.
Oh, weird.
And they both like on a few occasions accidentally got into each other's cars because they just like looked the same. I spent probably a total of 30 seconds debating what to do next, wondering if there were cameras that might catch me or if I could get into some sort of trouble if this guy wasn't an actual thief. Then I decided, screw it. This was definitely my car. It didn't even have real plates. I was taking it. I hopped in and happily drove to see my daughter and told her exactly what happened. We later went to pick up the rental car I had abandoned and returned it to a location within Seattle. I still can't believe I was able to get my car back.
It just occurred to me, and I get why it didn't occur to her, but if it was recent, she probably still had her registration, or at least had her like insurance card, which I think has your VIN on it, and she could have checked the VIN on the little plate in the windshield to see if it matched, and then had confirmation. And then if it was, she could just go to the nearest like police station where she had filed that report and said, hey, I found the car, my key worked, it was stolen, it had these temporary plates, I just took it because it's my car, but I need you to make sure that, like, you know, whoever is responsible for issuing this temporary plate is questioned, and then I need to go to the DMV and get new plates issued that are permanent for me.
Ultimately, I ended up selling it and getting a new car because I was so paranoid it was going to happen again. And I made sure I did a lot of research on what kind of cars aren't easily stolen before finally getting a Volkswagen. VW, not stolen. I would imagine anything that uses a phone to unlock also. I don't know how much. Those are probably expensive.
Yeah, but like
electric vehicles.
I don't really like that whole thing though, because then it's entirely dependent on like, do I have signal? Do I have Wi-Fi? What if you're parked in a like subterranean basement or something like that, and you can't connect to Wi-Fi? You're just screwed.
Our last story is from Miranda, and it's what's your best, no one will believe this, but story from the Splash Beach Ball. He rejected me in high school. I rejected him a decade later.
Oh.
Great. What a fun, I assume, high school reunion is what I'm going to go with. But yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wow, you got hot all of a sudden.
I know. Maybe the rejection happened at the reunion. You never know. I guess we'll find out.
I was a really awkward teenager. I didn't know how to dress myself. I struggled with acne and my weight. I was a total mess. I also had a huge crush on this boy in my class, Eric, who ended up sitting next to me in a lot of our classes because of where our names were on the roll chart alphabetically. Wasn't that a fun part of high school? I feel like there was just like certain kids that I like remember because I'm like, they were always next to me.
Oh.
I tried to befriend Eric, but I knew he didn't like me back. He was dating a pretty girl in our class for most of high school anyway. Our senior year, they had a huge falling out a few weeks before prom, and I knew he was going to be dateless. I tried shooting my shot and asked him if he wanted to go to prom with me, just as friends. He told me he was just going to skip it, but thanks anyway. Thank goodness senior year was almost over, because seeing him at school every day was just a reminder of the rejection, and I felt so dumb. Fast forward to my post-high school life. I moved away, got really into trail running, and got extremely fit. My skin cleared up, and I learned how to put on makeup and dress myself. I look nothing like I did in high school at this point and can easily get all the Erics I want.
Good for you.
Yeah, good for you. You go, girl.
I like this confidence.
Last year, I was back in my hometown and getting groceries for my parents when I realized Eric is working as a cashier and ringing up my groceries. I was like, oh, hey, Eric, how have you been? He stared at me blankly, so I said, it's Miranda. We sat next to each other all through high school. Do you remember me? His demeanor totally changed, and he goes, oh, right, you asked me to prom. I should have gone with you. I said, no worries, it's old history. He asked if I'd moved back home. I said, no, just visiting. He was like, that's too bad, but maybe we can meet up later and catch up. It's so good to see you.
Oh, Eric.
Eric.
Where was this energy in high school?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like, read the room, dude. I mean, look, I have a good relationship with the cashiers at Sprouts that I go to and see all the time, but no. Just no.
No. Now, if I looked the way I did as a teenager, he would not have been this friendly to me. He certainly wasn't when I was a teenager. I just smiled back politely and told him I was going to be too busy during my visit with my parents to make that happen, but thanks anyway. I probably enjoyed turning his offer down a little more than I should have, but I swear getting to say no back to him healed something in me. My inner teen was finally vindicated.
I love that.
Yeah, great.
A happy story.
Yeah, like, what would even be the point of hanging out with him? I feel like is the other thing. Like, what would you have gotten from that? Nothing. What does Eric have to offer?
What does he bring to the table?
Yeah, not much.
The manosphere likes to ask all the time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. She doesn't live in town. They're not going to start dating. So, and like, you're going to hook up with Eric. That's probably not going to be fun.
Yeah.
He can offer an employee discount at the Piggly Wiggly.
Right.
That's about it.
And, outside of that, who cares? That's it for Delve Deck Stories. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, you can like, subscribe, and check out some of our other videos. And if you have a story that you would like to share with us, you can go to share.delvedeck.com and we might read it on an episode.